Hello, friends! Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to Morning Tea with CJ, the show where I talk about the latest news, maybe implement something I find in the latest news, and kind of just hang out and drink some tea. I'm a little bit late, and also I forgot to schedule this thing, so there might not be many people watching, but if you're out there, I appreciate you. Please say hello in the chat. Let's get right into this. So for the show, I put all of the links that I talk about and all of the code that I write on this repo, github.com/codinggarden/morning-tea. You can see all of the links and code from previous episodes, and anything I find today I'll throw up there as well. Ray, welcome to the stream. Hello. Good morning. We will start with r/JavaScript. Also, I got lots of new t-shirts. This one's new. And actually, let me adjust my green screen right quick. Vegomad, I haven't tried to say your name. I've seen lots of comments from you, but Vegomad, welcome. Thursday, hello. Oh, and Dusan, hello. But Dusan says I surpassed 1,500 subs. I did. It's insane. Like, it took a while to get to 1,000, but after I got to 1,000, it's definitely been growing really fast. And Borislav, welcome. Yeah, but just a second, you can see my shirt is like sparkling. Let me try to fix that. That's a little better. Okay. Vageomad, welcome. And Peter, hello, good morning from Holland. Okay, let's get right into this. Let's see, this very first link, an animation library that mimics CSS keyframes when scrolling. Interesting. Let's check out their website. All right, an animation library that mimics CSS keyframes when scrolling. All right, so we're going to start scrolling. Basic animate. Okay, so you saw how the square is getting a little bit bigger as I start to scroll. And to do this, you specify some points and define what should happen. Okay. A start and end point. So when you start scrolling, the moment the page hits here, it starts. And then in between there and the end point is when the thing happens. Aditya, hello, welcome. Sanjay, hello. Yeah, and that's a good point, Sanjay. I've been thinking about writing blogs or just something that maybe blog posts that coincide with some of the live videos that I do that kind of maybe just break it down a little bit more or like link to specific parts of the videos because I know a lot of people that didn't watch live don't necessarily want to watch like a 3-hour video. But yeah, definitely. This is interesting. I will say, I don't know if I've said it on this channel, but I am not a big fan of scroll jacking or like websites that have like content pop up based on where your scroll is. I just don't like it, and it to me it doesn't seem like the best user experience because if you haven't done it right, then on like certain screen resolutions it may not actually work, or if someone tries to scroll, it may not scroll the way they intended it to. I think you could do some cool things with it, but I'm not the biggest fan. This seems super interesting though. It seems pretty easy to get started. You basically say a point is a given element, and when the scroll reaches that element, it will start a specific animation. So that's cool. It's a brand new library though. It only has 9 stars on GitHub. Cool. Let's see what comments have to say about it. Nice library. It really makes the scroll animations easier to do. Wonder how this work with React. Cool library though. That is true because you are doing like, it seems like you're doing direct DOM manipulation, so it may not be able to use it with React or another front-end framework. Musa, hello. Welcome to the stream. All right. I always forget to save the links, so I'm going to add them here. Animation library that mimics CSS keyframe scrolling. Cool. Vuesax. Let's talk about Vuesax. They have a new component sidebar. So Vuesax, I found this through Ollie, who created his own version of the Trello clone that I've been working on, but he used Vuesax as the component library instead of Vuetify. But we'll check out Vuesax real quick because they're like a Vue.js component library, and it looks like they have this new component sidebar. I really like that's really cool because you can minimize it, but when you minimize it, it's still all of the links maintain their hierarchy and their icons. That's slick. I want to check it out on their website. Vuesax, is this it? Yeah. So Vuesax front end view component. So if you're familiar with Vuetify, it is like a material design component library for Vue.js. Vuesax is just a component library. I don't think it adheres to any specific specification. Cool. Sanjay is saying a collaboration with Coding Train. I would love to. Dan, if you're watching, let's do something. Cool. Let's see some of their. I really like the design of their website too, but their components just like look like really slick. Nice little buttons. Selects. Oh, a little. Oh, you can't see it because I'm in the way. Let me do this. Click a notification. So that's cool. Nice little switches, but yeah, it's pretty sweet. I definitely want to try to use this in an upcoming thing that I do, just to kind of try it out. Actually, one stream that I do want to do is really like a comparison of all the different component libraries that are out there for Vue.js, because there are quite a few of them. Yeah, but it's super cool. I think is sidebar. Is this the new thing that they were mentioning on new component sidebar? Open sidebar. Yeah, this is it. And I really like the fact that it can be like minimized, group collapsed. Oh, this is the one with reduced. This is super slick, like especially like on a mobile device where maybe there's not as much screen real estate. I mean, I think if you can make icons that actually make sense, then it's totally valid to have like a tiny sidebar like this, especially like with icons. I like that. I like that a lot. Very cool. Cool. So I'll throw a link to Vuesax, but also throw a link just to that Reddit thread because it looks like there's quite a bit of discussion going on there too. Yeah, let's go to the comments. Haven't used Vue yet, but the name Vuesax is unfortunate. Some people were saying it sounded like Vue sucks. It sounds like Vuesax. I don't know. It's not the best name, but it is a library. Impro Elite. Professor Daniel loves this channel. I was watching live one time and then I became a sponsor and he actually like Dan from Coding Train actually knew who I was. I was floored. I was like, how the heck have you even seen my channel? But yeah, I would love to do a collab. And I haven't told any of you yet, but I'm actually moving to New York City. So in like a week or so, I'm going to be living in New York City for like 3 months. So maybe something will happen. Never know. But I do plan to continue streaming. And when I start the stream, I'll be able to say, live from New York, it's Coding Garden. So that'll be fun. Not to be that guy, but settings is misspelled in the sidebar. So is profile. Let's see it. Oh, there's only one T in settings. And then profile is perfile. Actually, let's see if their docs, if it's misspelled, because then we'll make a quick pull request. That should be easy. Sidebar. Yeah, it is. It's misspelled on all of these. Let's see how easy it would be to make a quick pull request. Ali, hello, welcome. Yeah, I know you were asking about it in the Discord, like when this was going to happen. I totally forgot to make an event so that you could click on it, but we're here, we're live, it's happening. Let's see, there's docs, there's components, there is sidebar. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'll say this till the end, but if I don't find anything else to implement, part of the code that I write today will just be a contribution to fix their docs and update the spelling of a few things. Yeah, so Ollie is actually the one that introduced me to Vuesax. They released this new component sidebar. It's pretty slick. It has like a minimizer, and you can have like nested things. It looks pretty cool. We'll do that, and we'll do that. Cool. Moving right along. My first JavaScript game, Zomballs. Let's check it out. We will start. Oh. How do I move? Oh, WASD? Okay. Dang, the zombies do not relent! Die! Is I think my health is my health going down? No, 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 no. No, 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 they're gonna block me in. Cool. Oh, I got a gun. Yeah, let's get that. It's like semi-automatic. Yeah, look at that. All I gotta do is hold down the shooter now. Game over. You effed up. Cool. It's a fun little game. Let's see what the comments have to say. Looks pretty decent, but after getting to 21 points, the game just kind of stopped for me. I could still move around and shoot, but no more zombies spawned. Oh, interesting. Oh, Jiraj, welcome to the stream. Amal, welcome, salutations. And I know for a lot of you, it's not morning, it's evening or night or afternoon. Top of the morning, Kaizen. Welcome to the stream. I literally laughed out loud when I died, and it said, you effed up. It's way too hard. It's pretty interesting. I wonder if the source code is available. Fork me on GitHub. I'm curious. Oh, do they use P5.js? P5 Playmaster, P5 Scene Manager. The game was built using the P5 library with DOM and Play add-ons. Very cool. I didn't know they had Play add-ons. Are the Play add-ons specifically for like creating games? Provides sprites, animations, input, and collision functions for games and game-like applications. That's pretty sweet. Cool. Yeah, I'll link to both of these things. Zomballs. There's that. All right, let's click one or two more links. Robin, hello, welcome. Good to see you. One more link. What should we click? Color picker, book about design patterns. Let's go with this color picker. It's got 99 upvotes. Let's see what it's about. Flat, simple, and hackable color picker. No dependencies, no jQuery. Compatible with all CSS frameworks. Let's check it out. Pick a color. Ooh, nice UI. Let's do a nice green color for Coding Garden. Can you do alpha? Yeah, you got alpha channel, RGB, hex, HSV, HSVA. HSV with an alpha channel? That's cool. Save. And the example code, you tell it what element will be your color picker, what components you want on it, and then you can just use it. It's pretty sweet, nice and simple. I like it. Like when I first saw the code, it almost seemed like Vue.js style. Like you tell it what element to use, and there's some like options you pass in. I wonder what they used to actually build it. Let's see. Source, JS. No, it's just. I was like, it might all just be JavaScript. Let's go to package JSON. Dependencies. Everything's a dev dependency. Babel. Yeah, looks like they just used JavaScript to make it. I like it. Let's look at the comments. Working nicely on mobile. I think I'm gonna love it. Oh, and Robin is asking, are all the streaming problems over? In terms of like the screen freezing and stuff like that. Yeah, I got a new streaming card, capture card. And the great thing about that though, I went to exchange my existing one that was freezing and I was gonna upgrade. I was prepared to pay more money. I was like, I just need to get a better card. And the one that I wanted was only $5 more than the one that I was trading back in. And it does like 60 frames per second. It has GPU acceleration on the card itself. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, the screen is no longer freezing. I don't think there are any audio issues, but yeah, for the most part, things are good. Thanks for asking. Andraz says, Clockwork Chili, Wade Game Engine. Is that something I should Google? What is that? I'll look it up real quick, but let's look at these comments. Very nice. One thing I will say, however, is that you chose some pretty generic CSS class names that will likely conflict with many people's own class names. Oh, that's good. That's a good point. When building a library to work with the masses, you should look at prefixing all your classes with something unique like MCP. Other than that, very nice. That is a great pointer. Like, especially like you're making a library for other people to consume. Because CSS classes are, when you add them to a page, they're essentially global on that page. You definitely want to namespace things if you're making a library. Oh, this is a sweet library. I will link to it. Oh, Kaizen asks, have you spoken about the Emoji Keyboard? I haven't, and I think I'll spend some time doing that because that was a super fun project. You may have noticed if you're on the Discord, the message that I sent was at, well, I guess you're probably in a different time zone, but for me, it was at 5 a.m. when I finally finished the keyboard. I stayed up. I did not sleep that night, mainly because I've been kind of hacking on the Emoji Keyboard for a while, and just trying to figure out how I might do it. And that night, I finally figured it out, and I did it. At the end of the day, the code is pretty simple. It was a matter of figuring out the architecture of everything and how everything kind of like goes together. And yes, I'm adding these links, but I will talk about the Emoji Keyboard that I created now. And Robin is asking, what is your setup like? Your working computer and a stream computer that gathers everything together? Yeah, so this is a MacBook. This is where I do all of my development, but I have over there a pretty high-powered Windows laptop. It's like basically like a gaming laptop, and it has everything plugged into it. And I'm using OBS to stream and situate all of my scenes. It basically allows you to add video captures and audio capture and images and overlays. You can kind of position them on the screen, and then it streams out to YouTube. Jiraz is saying, the Wade game engine is the easiest 2D and isometric HTML5 engine to make amazing web games and apps. Oh, cool. I never heard of it. I'll add a link to it in extra. Before I talk about the Emoji Keyboard, let's see it. Oh, clockworkchili.com. The easiest 2D and isometric HTML5 engine to make amazing web games and apps. Very cool. Let's see what games. Word it out. Oh, it's a Facebook game. So I don't have a Facebook account. I had one. I haven't logged into Facebook in like a year. And then I disabled it, and then I don't know what my password is anymore. But when I left Facebook, I took my email and phone number off, so now I can't get back into the account. So yeah, I don't use Facebook. Zerma, let's just see what this is about. To move around the map, click and drag your mouse and slide your fingers across. Now zoom in with the mouse wheel. Okay. Click to tap on an object. Ooh, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'll link to this game engine as well. You guys can check that out. Leave. Here it is. Wade game engine. Cool. Ali is asking, or Ollie, sorry if I don't say your name right. Are there any web animation apps with a GUI? Are you asking like an app for putting animations on your website that has a GUI to create those animations? I don't know. Oh yeah, and that game had like an Age of Empires vibe, definitely. Okay, let's talk about the emoji keyboard. So if you follow me on Twitter, um, you may have seen that I posted, and here's a quick demo of it. You actually, I can show you live, but basically, you plug it into your computer, and it just has a bunch of emojis on it that you can click, and they'll show up as emojis. And I will show it to you live right here. Let me make sure. Ta-da! So this is just a plain old regular Logitech cheap, probably like $5 USB keyboard, and then I got an entire sticker pack of like emoji stickers, and then I just went and put a sticker on each individual thing. But that keyboard is plugged into this Arduino, which is blue, and my blue screen is kind of like making it invisible. But the Arduino, and actually I have another Arduino I can show you. So Arduino, if you're not familiar with it, it's a tiny little microcontroller. I have like 10 of these things because I run a workshop where I teach young girls robotics. So I've got tons of them laying around. But basically, it's a small little microcontroller. It has all of these different inputs for plugging in LEDs or sensors, and it hooks up to your computer so you can program it with C++. So I have one of these, and then I have a shield. So a shield is a thing that you can plug into it, and the shield is a USB host. So the shield allows me to plug in a keyboard, and then the shield came with a library where I can detect when keys are pressed. So basically, the shield has the keyboard plugged into it. That's sending a signal to the Raspberry Pi that says a key was pressed. And then I put a custom firmware on the... did I say Raspberry Pi? I didn't mean Raspberry Pi is another thing. I have some of those too, but that sends signals to the Arduino. And then I have a custom firmware on the Arduino that makes the computer think that it's just a regular keyboard. Because by default it doesn't do that. And then you just plug it in, and I'll show you that now. So you plug it in, and one thing is, actually I'll show it without that mode enabled, but like, if I press the 100 key, you see all those weird characters? What it's doing is every emoji character has a corresponding Unicode value, and Macs have the ability to, and other computers, input Unicode values if you enable that. So I can put in a Unicode hex input, and what happens is if you hold down the Alt key and then press the right sequence of characters, that emoji will pop up. So basically what's happening is my Arduino is pretending to be a keyboard, and then when I press an emoji, 100, it is sending that sequence of characters with the Alt key held down when you press that one button. Let me zoom in real quick. You can see more emojis. So yeah, and so basically what I had to do was I had like a serial log going, and I figured out what is the code that each of these buttons is sending the Arduino. And then I basically just have a giant if-else statement that says, if this key was pressed, send this sequence of characters. And it works. So anyone that you press, you get a custom emoji. I'm going to do a write-up of how I did it, the code that I wrote to do it. I'll share all of that, and so you can try to do it if you want to as well. One thing that I thought was clever, the arrow keys are just pointing in different directions. And then the enter key over here. Oh, it doesn't work in here. So one thing is, for whatever reason, VS Code doesn't support some emoji codes, but if I were to do it in here, you see, that's the beer emoji. So yeah, it's pretty great. And the cool thing about it is you can plug this into any computer. No special drivers or applications are required. As long as that computer has Unicode hex mode input enabled, you just plug it in. The computer thinks it's just a regular keyboard, and it just works. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna publish how I did it, and I'll tell you what did inspire me. I actually did link to it, I think, in this thread here. So if you're not familiar with Tom Scott, he is a great dude. He's got a really great YouTube channel. He's also on the YouTube channel Computer File, and he made an emoji keyboard with all 1,000 possible emojis. Basically, he had, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 14 keyboards all plugged into the same computer, and each key is a different emoji. He has a video where he talks about how he did it. He's actually just using software on the computer. He's using like Auto Hotkey and like Lua script or something like that. So it's all happening, and it can really only happen on a Windows machine. But I wanted to make something that was like hardware based. But yeah, he definitely inspired me. Cool. It's the Logitech K120. Is it? It was super cheap. I got it on. So here in the US, we have a thing called Prime Now. You can literally go onto Amazon's website and have something delivered to your door within like 2 hours. I needed a keyboard one day, so they delivered this and a mouse. And Jiraj is asking, do I use Elgato Stream Deck with OBS? I do not. Right now, so the other thing that I have going is I have this app running called Share Mouse. So when I move my mouse over this way, it's actually controlling my Windows machine. So right now, I just click on different scenes to load them. But the Elgato Stream Deck is actually pretty sweet. And actually, just yesterday, I was seeing some people make like. Honestly, though, I could make my own version of the Stream Deck using an Arduino and using like macros or something like that, because I could make it so that just like a numpad key, when I press a specific button, it sends a sequence of commands which would like change scenes in OBS or like mute my mic or something like that. But yeah, the Elgato Stream Deck, it's like, it sits there, you can program the buttons to do different things. I do not have one of those though. Oh, Robin is mentioning Synergy. So, I used Synergy for a very long time, and then never touched it for a while. But then recently, when I looked at it, it was a pay for product now. Synergy, man, Synergy. I don't get the reference, but I appreciate that. Yeah, but for a while, Synergy was totally free. I used it like probably 10 years. I don't know. It's been around. I think it might have been 10 years ago. But now they charge money. But you're telling me the code WAN for 50% off? I might do it, because I'm using the free version of Share Mouse right now. Appreciate that. And JT is saying your version should support caps lock. So that's the interesting thing. That's one thing that I'm not doing. So like, I have not done anything with the modifier keys, but one thing I could do is like, if the shift key is held down, then it's in a completely different set of emojis. So like right now, I think this is, I forget how many keys is it. It's probably like 100 different emojis. But if I made it so that when you held the shift key, it's a different emoji on each button, that would be like 200 emojis. Or maybe I could even do like 3 emojis per key or something like that. But this was super awesome. I'm going to publish the code, everything I did to do it. Though last night I was thinking about, so to code this thing, it requires knowledge of USB HID devices, programming in C++, and a little bit about like what device drivers are. And I kind of made my own like simple version of a device driver. But what I was thinking, it would be possible to do this with like JavaScript and Node. So the program running on the Arduino would be super simple. It would just send the key code over serial, and then you could have a Node app running on the machine, listening for any commands that's sent from the Arduino, and then input text using like your Node command. I think I want to do a version with that also. because then I could make like a GUI where you could customize which button does what emoji. And so like, because right now it's very hard coded. I basically have one giant if else statement that is hard coded with the key codes to decide which emoji to show. But it would be really cool to have an app where I could configure it like, oh, when this key is pressed, show this emoji or something like that. Cool. But yeah, I will definitely be posting code and pictures and different things like that. And then also there's this Emoji Works thing, which is someone literally built a keyboard that is marketed and sold that will let you type emojis on it. Did I link to Picker? And I'm going to go ahead and leave all of these emojis in here so you can take a look at those later. All right, but let's move on to r/webdev. Thursday says, "I smell a stream series." I think it'd be fun. I do want to do. I haven't done any videos on this channel on like hardware hacking or just like making stuff. I do that in my spare time, so I'd love to make videos like that. And Bob's Paradox is saying macros. That's how. Yeah, like technically you could do all this with macros. The guy that inspired me to do this, he's just using macros. Like he has a program running on his machine that detects when a specific key on a specific keyboard is pressed and then decides what emoji gets displayed. Whereas mine is just sending the key codes to input that specific emoji. But then macros could be used to do things like control my streaming computer or something like that. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. Thank you all for asking and being supportive. Favicons coming to Safari. Our job gets just a tiny little bit easier. Apple at its WWDC keynote on Monday previewed iOS 12, both of which feature Safari 12. Wait, are you telling me that Safari does not currently support favicons? I don't use Safari. Well, it's there. Yeah, it looks like their tabs don't actually show the favicons. That's crazy. This almost seems like one of those things like Apple's never had it, but the moment they do it, it's like an innovation just because they've never done it. I don't know. Yeah, Microsoft was the first to support favicons in 1999. Okay, but we're getting favicons. Cool. Oh yeah, and Thursday's mentioning. Yeah, and so I did see Robin. It's not in the tab. It's like in the URL bar. So like when I click here, it is there, but it's not here. Oh wait, Yahoo doesn't have one. Oh, there it is. Finally loaded. Cool. But yeah, Thursday was mentioning they'd like to do hardware hacking to like make toys for a baby or something like that. That'd be super cool. So part of the so the organization that I volunteer with is called Chick Tech, and they help or they teach at-risk high school girls about tech. And I run a workshop on robotics, but they also have one on soft circuits where there's this thing called the Arduino LilyPad, and it is specifically made for doing cool things like embedding LEDs in clothing or just doing simple things like that. I want to see a picture. Products, Arduino. Yeah, like wearable products. Yeah, this thing. And so it's pretty tiny. It can be programmed, but you can like hook up LEDs to it, and a lot of times these holes are used to actually like sew it into clothing or something like that. So yeah, it's super cool. Okay. Let's read the comments on this favicons thing. P.S. Are you coming to the picnic? Picnic? What picnic? Okay. Wow, only 19 years late. Do I know you? Maybe maybe I know you, but I don't know that I do. Cool. Regardless, yeah, this is what I was mentioning. Like they haven't had favicons for 19 years. What's up with that? Yeah, and so they've had favicon in the URL bar, but what's new is they're actually going to be adding favicons to the tabs in Safari. So that's interesting. Okay, that's worthy news. I'll throw a link in here. Article on React basic internals nicely explained. Chick Tech Picnic. I didn't know there was one, and I do know. Okay, I'll figure out who you are. um, cool. I didn't know there was one. I'll look into it. Optimizing React Virtual DOM explained. Ooh. Learn about React's virtual DOM and using this knowledge to speed up your applications. In this thorough, beginner-friendly introduction to frameworks internals, we will demystifying JSX, show you how React makes rendering decisions, and explain how to find bottlenecks. Very cool. One of the reasons React keeps rocking the front-end world and shows no sign of decline is its approachable learning curve. Cool. Behind JSX. So it's pretty cool. If you do use React, I mean, you might be familiar that like when you're looking at JSX code like this, it actually is getting turned into code like this. This article is kind of talking about how that's done. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but I like it. It's really like a very thorough breakdown of React itself. It doesn't have any comments yet, but I will link to it. Cool. Side question. Can Facebook get access to the applications made by React? You may be referring to like the licensing issue that React had for a while. Yeah, direct answer is just like no, which Robin said. I mean, pretty much everything you do, well, React is JavaScript, and by the nature of JavaScript, when you build an app with JavaScript, you have to distribute the source code for the app to actually work. So, I mean, technically, anybody that has your React app can have it, but it's not like when you create a React app, Facebook has your code and has access to it. No, they don't. But there was a while, like for a while, React had a specific license that said you couldn't use it to do certain things like build a social network or something like that. I'm probably misquoting that greatly, but for a while it had a restrictive license that prevented a lot of people from actually using it, but all of that has happened, and now React actually has the MIT license, which is a pretty open source license, meaning that you're free to use React however you want. You don't have to do anything special with the apps that you create. Hey Joe, welcome to the stream. Hello. Okay, that's fun. Let's click like one more link. Full stack web developers. How do you keep track of everything that's going on? You watch Coding Garden with CJ, right? No, I don't know. How do I keep track of everything that's going on? Okay, this is, there's so much to learn and keep track of. Backend languages, backend frameworks, databases, tools, packaging systems, build tools, DevOps. On the front end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, libraries, components, frameworks, graphics work. There is a lot of stuff out there. There's just so much to learn. How do you manage that? Do you take time off for dedicated learning, and how do you decide what to learn and what to skip? I think the biggest philosophy that I try to follow is just kind of like learn as I need it. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to learn something just because it's new and it seems cool. I mean, sometimes I do that, but typically I want to do a thing or I want to build a thing. So I tried to learn the things involved to build that thing. So like for this emoji keyboard, I learned about device drivers. I learned about writing firmware. I learned about the library that is used to interpret USB codes. I learned about Unicode and how every emoji character has a Unicode representation. So basically, I knew I wanted to do a thing, and I tried to figure out what are all the parts and pieces that I need to know, learn those things, and kind of just like put them all together into that project. I feel like pretty much everything I've done in my career has been that. It's basically, I want to do a thing. What are the things I need to know to do that thing? And then let's figure those things out and piece them together. Joshua Jones just pledged on Patreon. If you're watching, hello, thanks. Appreciate you. Jay says, hello, nice to see you. Today's my first day to know your channel. Well, welcome. You're very lucky to be joining a live stream. A lot of people just catch me when I'm not live, so welcome. And Joshua Jones, appreciate you. Thanks for pledging. Yeah, but let's see what the comments have to say about learning and all these different things. And I guess what I was saying is like was very general, but I mean you can extrapolate that to like I want to build my own blog. Well, there are lots of different backend languages you can use. There are lots of different front-end frameworks you could use. Settle on something. I would kind of like survey, see which seem the most approachable, and then try to learn that thing. If you're looking for a job in the industry, you might see, okay, what are specific companies hiring for, and then learn those things. Yeah. You don't have to just learn everything. You can learn what you have interest in, and really what you need to, rather than just learning everything. And before I read these comments, let me adjust my, oh, not that. There's some like artifacting of my blue screen happening back there. Oh, not that. Chroma key. Whoa, but then I'm invisible. I don't want that. There we go. That's decent. I think. I don't look like a ghost, do I? Okay. All right, first comment. Keep in mind you've listed multiple options under each section. Once you know one, moving to another is much easier. Also, even if you're a full stack dev, you aren't touching all of this on a day-to-day basis. You're probably constantly referring to documentation for the DevOps work. That's the other thing. A lot of times, and especially like new people in the industry, feel like you just need to know everything. I look at documentation constantly. Like if you ever watch when I'm actually coding something, some things I have memorized just because I use them so often, but things that I don't use as often, I'm constantly going back to the documentation, and that's okay. Software development and programming is one of those industries where you don't have to like memorize everything. As long as you have access to the resources, you're allowed to, even if you're getting paid to do the thing, you're allowed to look things up and read about them. That's just a part of the job. Yeah, even doing a solo project, if you haven't touched something in a while, I'll still be Googling the most basic stuff or referring to old projects or boilerplates I used to make sure that I got it right. Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest misconceptions. And honestly, a lot of times, like, because I taught full stack web development for 2.5 years, and a lot of students will see that I have all these things memorized and I can just do them, and they think that they have to memorize them too. You don't. Like, I have them memorized literally because I use them every single day, but if I didn't, I could still use those things just by reading docs. Cool. Jiraj is asking, can you do live streams from your classes? So I mentioned earlier in the stream, but I am moving to New York City for 3.5 months. So my old employer, Galvanize, is hiring back for a few months to go teach a cohort there. And I don't plan to stream any of my actual like teaching in the class. I don't know if I'm technically allowed to do that, but I will be streaming from that Galvanize location, and I might have, I don't know if they want to, they don't even know who I am yet, but my students might want to sit in, and I guess it'd be cool to have like people in person asking questions and stuff like that. Thursday has a side question. I just got a job where I need to switch legacy code from Knockout to Vue. Any suggestions on where to start? I don't know either language. Hamid, welcome. I will answer your question Thursday, but Andreas is saying, yeah, CJ constantly checks the Vue docs, even though I feel he's an expert on it. Like, you saw me the other day. I was trying to do Vuex from memory, and I was like, well, I messed that up. Let's just go back to the docs. Yeah, like, it's okay to do that. And so for one, I used Knockout like once, like 5 years ago, so I don't know it that well. But suggestions on where to start. I would search around to see if anybody's done it before, like an example of a Knockout code base getting converted into Vue. As far as I know, Knockout has pretty similar principles in terms of like you have your data and that's represented in the view somehow, and when the data changes, the view automatically updates. However, Knockout is a lot more verbose. So in a way, you're really just going to be like reducing the amount of code that you write. And in terms of like where to start, first I would just learn like the basics of Vue.js. I have a very short, very simple video on how to build a to-do app. No, don't do that. That's live. Stop it. Very short, very simple, like 18 minutes long, building a to-do app with Vue.js. Vue to-do. So you can check this out, really just to see how it works. Like if you've ever built a to-do app with like vanilla DOM manipulation or something like that, and you know how that works, just watching how I do it with Vue.js will give you an idea of how the application is actually structured. And then there are lots of like really good free courses out there, but I think initially just understanding how Vue.js works, and then take like a really short, like small example of something written in Knockout and try to write the same thing in Vue. I would start there, like learn the basics of Vue, take one small thing written in Knockout and see if you can convert that. And then kind of gradually like start to work your way up. But it's doable. Vue is awesome. Also really just like reading their documentation, because they have some of the best documentation, and even just their getting started really describes how it works and how to use it. So this is also a great place to start. Jiraj is asking, do I play chess? I know how to play chess. I'm just not very good. And Rohit, hello, welcome to the stream. Ali is asking, what is the best way to read the docs and know where to look for a problem? It is an acquired skill. I've had some of my students tell me this before, like they are attempting to read the docs and they're trying to like solve a problem, and I'll just like walk over and be like, oh, that right there is what you need. It really just comes from experience, like reading so many docs and having so much exposure to like how they're written. I've kind of gotten a knack for, okay, this is the thing that I want to do. That's kind of what I'm scanning and looking for in the docs. I don't know if I have any really good tips. I mean, I would say my biggest tip is, especially if you're working on something, you're not just like learning that thing from scratch from the docs. Like you already know it a little bit, and you're working on something and you want to fix a specific thing. I do like to just scan the docs. Like I don't read it line for line. Sometimes to my detriment, because I'll like miss things, but at the same time it kind of allows me to take in a little bit more rather than just like reading from the top of the page to the bottom until I see what I need. I would constantly Control F on the page for just like key terms that I think might be there. If you see, or if you saw the Newbie Tuesday video that I did with Tony, where we built the Electron Clipboard app, let's see. This one, 2 Newbie Tuesdays ago, this build a desktop clipboard history manager. In that episode, I kind of like coach Tony through the docs. I was like, okay, we want to do this thing. What would we search for? Where would we look? That might be a good indication of kind of how to do that. And Jiraj is mentioning the Leela Chess Zero neural network. Interesting. Let's check it out. moved to this GitHub. A chess adaptation of GCP's Leela 0. Yeah, I know Stockfish is like a chess API, I believe, or something like that. The goal is to build a strong UCT chess AI following the same type of techniques as AlphaZero. Ooh. It's pretty interesting. I'll throw it in extra. Right, take it out. Cool. All right. I've kind of been going on tangents. We've been talking a lot about a lot of things. One thing I want to do is contribute to the Vuesax documentation. So one thing earlier, one of the Reddit comments says that there was a typo. So I want to fix that typo in the docs. But cool. I'll also link to this. You can read more of the comments on full stack web developers. How do you keep track of everything that's going on? Whoa. Okay, let's do it. First thing, so just to show you the bug that we're talking about, if you look in the documentation and you look at their sidebar, they misspelled settings and they misspelled profile. So we're gonna fix that. And it seems like they misspelled it in multiple places, like there, and then also there. So I'm gonna try to fix that. I believe, yeah, so I'll start from scratch so you can see how you might go about this. Fixing typos, fixing like small things in documentation, this is one of the easiest ways to contribute to an open source project. So first thing, let's go to their GitHub. I am gonna look first under pull requests to make sure no one has already done this work and is just like waiting to get merged in. There are no open pull requests. I don't think anybody's done it. Let's also look in issues to see if anybody is mentioning that something is misspelled. Homepage misspelling. And the other cool thing is a lot of really good repos will have labels on them like good first issue. And so if you've never contributed to open source before, these are typically issues that are really easy to get started with to fix. Yeah, so I don't see anything about that misspelling. Yeah, contributors is spelled wrong. Very cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a contribution to fix the docs. And before I do that, one last question from Hamid. When is the Trello clone going to be completed? Soon. I do, if you join the Discord, I do have my own Trello board where I'm keeping track of like all the different topics that have been suggested and things that I'm currently working on. So right now I have a Trello clone that's not finished. I have the full stack forum that I worked on in like the 8-hour stream. Sorry. I have the Reddit clone, which has some features but is not completed. All of those things are in progress. So you can expect videos for all of those things or live streams upcoming pretty soon. And then there are various other things that people have suggested and ideas and suggestions. And as other suggestions come in, I'll add them there as well. If you join the Discord, there is a stream suggestions channel is what it's called. And so if you have any ideas, you can throw them in there. And if you're a donor or a patron, you have access to the contributor suggestions, and those are going to get a little bit more priority. Like this one, Hybrid Mobile, was suggested by Kaizen. He is a donor and supporter on Patreon. So I'm going to give that a little bit more priority than some of these other ones. Cool. Oh, and Ali is saying, I have contributed the margin and padding classes. That's awesome. Was it a pull request that was like open? Yeah, margin padding helper classes. Hey! Look at that! Coding Garden's own Ollie on the internet, making moves. That's great. Congrats, dude. All right, let's make this work. So first thing, I'm gonna pull this thing down locally. Yeah, just right in this directory. Why not? So git clone that. And while that's being cloned down, let's see if they have contributors documentation. So they do have a contributing.md. We can read about it to make sure that we're doing the things right. Hello, I'm very excited that you're interested in contributing to Vuesax. However, before you're contributing, be sure to take a moment and read the following guidelines. So the code of conduct, extraction requests, development setup. So development setup will definitely come into play. Code of conduct. I'm a pretty nice person, so I think I'll adhere to this, but use welcome and inclusive language, be respectful. Cool. So make sure we adhere to that. And then we'll definitely do the development setup, but pull request guidelines. The masterama is basically a snapshot of the latest stable version. All development must be done in dedicated branches. So one thing I'll do is I'll make a branch so that my changes will be done on there. Work in the source folder and do not register dist commits. It is good to have multiple small commits while working on the PR. We'll let GitHub squash it automatically before the merge. Okay, cool. If you add a new feature, add the test case that accomplishes it. We're not adding a new feature, we're just really like fixing several typos. If you correct an error, if you're solving a special problem, add fix number. Number is the problem indication in your PR title. For a better launch record, for example, update entities encoding and decoding. You'll need VuePress installed globally. Okay, so I have it cloned down. Let's try to open it up in code and contribute to it. So you will need VuePress installed globally. We'll do it with npm. I think I have it. I just want to make sure I have the latest version. So we're going to install VuePress, and then we'll do an npm install inside of that folder. So let's go into the Vuesax folder and then do an npm install. Nope, that's wrong. npm install. /dist is what Ali is saying in the chat. It does seem like there's like weird typos. Dist commits. I don't know. We'll try to fix that though. Things are installing. Okay, VuePress is still installing. We'll let that go. Okay, so we have VuePress installed globally. We've done an npm install here, so let's open this specifically in code. I'm going to close that other instance, and we're going to open this up in code. Now, the thing that I want to fix is in components sidebar. So I'm just going to look in here. If we look in source, well, not in source, actually, we're fixing something in the documentation. Excuse me. So let's look in docs. We'll go into components, and then sidebar. Cool. So this is it. I'm really just going to do a find and replace. So let's find all occurrences of the word settings. There's 5 of them. And let's replace that with the word settings. So we're going to replace all. There we go. Okay. The other thing is we're going to find all occurrences of the word profile. There's 5 of them. And we're going to replace that with the word profile. Replace all. Okay. You know what? I guess because they're using VuePress, it actually renders out this code. I'm pretty sure. So here's what we'll do. We'll save that, and then let's see if we can get the documentation started locally to see if our changes are actually going to show up on the website. So if we look in the package JSON, there are lots of different scripts. The one that we want is for docs. Dev, serve, build, lint, VP, docs, build. Cool. So we'll do, we're going to run this command so that way we can actually look at the docs locally to see if our change actually took effect. So let's do npm run docs build. And I think that's going to create a folder of sorts. It's taking a while. But the command that we're running right now is literally generating this entire website. All of these documentation, everything like that, it's doing that locally so we can take a look locally before we actually commit the code and make a pull request. I guess also if we look at the README, let's take a quick stretch. If we look at the README, is there a command we can run to just run the docs? Look at the contributing guide. We did look at that. Oh, npm run dev will actually start the documentation. So we actually, I don't think we needed to build it. And it broke anyways. Oh wait, no, failed to compile. Oh, with errors. Okay. Let's just do an npm run dev. And I think that will start up. Yeah, okay. That starts up the documentation. That makes sense. If you look at the package JSON. Oh, yeah, that's what we want. That's definitely what we want. While that's happening, it's fish feeding time. Who's hungry? Dash is hungry. Want some food, fishy? Want some food? There you go. Cool. Question from Jiraj, the name of the stretch app. So they only have it for Mac, but it's called Timeout by a company called Dejal, Dejal. You can configure it for your own set length time for micro breaks and longer breaks. If you're on Windows, there's something called Eyeleo, Eyeleo. It works in a very similar way. And Robin is asking, what are we working on? We are fixing some typos that we found in the Vuesax documentation. Yeah, so I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about contributing to open source and try to make our own contribution. However, this VuePress thing is taking a very long time. Dash is very happy about that piece of food. There we go. It's moving a little bit faster. Here we go. Looks like there were some errors. Can't resolve that specific font. Okay. Where is the dev server? Dev server is running there. Is it broken though? Oh no! Cannot find module fonts Montserrat. I did do an npm install. Ollie, did you have this issue? It says it can't find a specific font. I don't know if there's anything else that I need to install. Let's see. Contributing. View config. Oh, maybe I need to check out a specific branch. There's only master. Okay. Jiraj is asking, do you use a blue screen with OBS? Yes, I do. I was using a green screen for a long time, but I wanted to be able to have a plant, and I wanted to be able to wear shirts that had green in them, so I'm using a blue screen instead. And OBS has built-in filters for like basically making the screen totally transparent so you can see the screen, the actual computer screen behind me. I'm gonna Google this error real quick, but this is unfortunate. It didn't just like start up. Can't resolve fonts. Oh. Let's just copy this and Google it. Want to do this explicitly. Let's see, where was it trying to do this? In docs, ViewPress theme styles. Docs, ViewPress theme styles. And let's add something for stylus because I don't have it in VS Code just yet. We'll do this one. Cool, so now I get stylus syntax highlighting. Okay, but in this, yeah, right here, I think it's doing it. This is trying to go up one directory in the fonts directory and grab a specific font file. Robin asks, are you using a DSLR for streaming? If so, teach Dan from Coding Train how to not make it not shut off every 30 minutes. Actually, I'm just using a like consumer grade 1080p camcorder. So it's not a DSLR, and it doesn't shut off. So I have it plugged in, and if it's plugged in, it stays on forever. I guess that could be an option for him, but yeah, it is funny watching him, and like every 20 or 30 minutes he has to go turn the camera back on. I think for me this is good enough quality. If you watch some of my earlier streams, I was just using just like a webcam like this. Well, not this, but this thing. Wasn't the best quality, but it seems to work. But yeah, this is like a camera I paid like maybe $200 for, if that. It works. Let's see what error we're getting though. Montserrat extra light. Here's why. I am on a case sensitive file system. So when it's trying to import .lowercase OTF, this file has an uppercase OTF. So I think if I rename this to have a lowercase OTF, it will work. I think that was the issue. Okay, let's try to do it again. npm run dev. Hey, I think it's working. Let's try it. Cannot assign to read-only property exports of object. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's go to just... See what this is happening. In app.js. This seems like they might be mixing like node.js code with like imports and exports code, like common JS modules. Let's see. Having all kinds of issues. You can't mix import and module.exports. Ollie is saying this is the first time that they're seeing these bugs. Are you what kind of a system are you on? Are you on Windows? Are you on Linux? It could be because I'm on a Mac. So there might be some tricky things happening, or it could be that like I don't have certain things installed correctly globally. Let's just look at their... Okay, they do have a master branch. That's the branch that I'm working on. You'll need Node version 6 or greater. You'll need VuePress installed globally. I do have it. Let's see. Let's search this on Google. Oh, Nuxt.js has an issue. That's, I think VuePress is built on top of that. Yeah, Jiraj is saying I can fix issues online on GitHub. I mean, technically I could. Technically, I could just go to that file here in docs, in components, in sidebar, and just like edit this on the page. But the main thing is I want to run it locally just to make sure that it looks okay. I know that it will look okay, but I want to be able to run it locally. If I can't get it running in the next, I'll say 10, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes. If I can't get it running, I will just edit this page on GitHub. Works fine. Working demo. You can mix require and export. You can't mix import and module.exports. Okay. If we look at our VuePress config, it is doing module.exports. Chris G, what's up? I'm attempting to contribute to some documentation, but I'm having some trouble getting it running locally. Actually, let's just do this. If we build the docs, do those actually work and run? Let's see. Oh, that. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some tea. Same error. This is unfortunate. Okay. I hate to say it, but I'm just gonna go edit the docs on GitHub itself. I guess that's also pretty beginner friendly. But one thing you typically want to do though when you're contributing to docs is make sure that what you're doing works locally. But let's just do this. We can, and if we go back to their contributing guide, they did say that our code should be on a separate branch. All development must be done in dedicated branches. And actually, whoa, looks like their docs are in their GitHub repo. I don't want that. Okay, I'm not going to push any code locally. When you edit things on directly on GitHub though, it usually does create a separate branch. So let's do this. We're going to go to that file. We're going to click this button. This will automatically fork it to my account and then put me in a file that I can actually edit. Yeah, so submitting a change to this file will write to a new branch in your fork. All right. Ollie is mentioning checking out a branch. I don't want to do that locally just because so many things are broken right now. For one thing, I had to change the name of that font, and I would actually like that to be on a separate branch altogether. I don't want that to be on this branch because that's like a separate issue, like working on case-sensitive file systems. Okay, let's search for settings. It's there. And can we do a replace? Nope. Let's do this. We edited it locally. Let's just copy what we have. Components, sidebar, this thing. There we go. Fix typo in sidebar. I'm gonna do a nice little bug emoji. Propose file change. Okay, so GitHub is nice about this. This will show me the actual changes that I made. So you see that I'm changing settings to settings and profile to profile. And that's pretty much all I changed. So cool. Let's create a pull request, which is gonna let Vuesax know, say, hey, I made this update on my fork. Please merge these changes into your repo. Create a pull request. Fix typo in sidebar. And let's just leave a small comment. Small typo of settings and profile in the sidebar component. I think that's what it was before. Profile? Yeah, profile. Create pull request. Cool. And so now, on the actual Vuesax repo, there is a pull request. There is the typo that I fixed. And if they so choose to, they can merge it in, and their website will be updated to get rid of that typo. I did a lot and then didn't use any of it for whatever reason. Locally on my machine, it doesn't want to work. So there's some issues there. I might look into it. I might not, but that's a thing. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's it for the stream today. Let me see. Yeah, I've been streaming for about an hour and 20. But that was fun, though. And before I went through that whole mess of, like, things not working, we did have a good chat. It was a good chat about contributing to open source and making pull requests and stuff like that. Okay. That's done. I will push up all of the links from today's episode so you can take a look at those. Like I said, coming very soon is write up code, Emoji Keyboard, how to make your own, something like that. And I will be streaming tomorrow night. I don't have the, sorry. Oh, not that. I thought that was extra. I don't have the events on YouTube yet, but check back here, and today I'm going to add the upcoming events for this week, so you can click set reminder if you do want to tune in for those. I'm thinking the Monday stream is going to be working on one of those apps that I have not finished yet. Might do Trello clone. One of the things I also want to do with the Trello clone is kind of refactor and start to clean up the code base. For the full stack forum, if you watch that 8-hour stream, I pretty much only got login done, so there's no actual forum feature, so I do want to work on that. And then adding more features to the Reddit clone. So one of those I'm going to choose to do, but I will put the links and the descriptions and everything on YouTube so you can set the reminder for that. Cool. If you check out coding.garden, that does have the stream times. As I mentioned, I'll put them on YouTube, but if you want to know when to tune in, check out this page. It will be in your local time zone. That is it. That is all. Thanks so much for everyone that tuned in. Thanks. Let me remember your name. I think it was Joshua Jones for becoming a patron. Let me just double check. I do want to give you a shout out. Oh, yes, and also, don't know if you're watching, but JB Pratt became a patron yesterday. I appreciate you. And today, Joshua Jones became a patron. Thanks for your support, everyone. All right, that's it. Andreas, I'll see you later. Everyone else in the chat, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And I'll see you tomorrow to build some stuff. Here's the fish cam. Ali, see you later. That's a good fish. And I actually found somebody that has their own beta fish that's potentially going to take care of him while I'm away in NYC, so that's good. It's a good fish. I'll answer this one last question. So from Chris, what's the deal with colon emoji? On GitHub, if you use the emoji code in your commits, those emojis will actually show up. So you can see on this repo, I have like a bug emoji and sparkles emoji and stuff like that. Cool. And see you later, Chris. Later. And Jay is asking how long the streams usually last. It varies. I would say anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Sometimes it goes a little bit longer than that. I try to keep them manageable to maintain like the rewatch value, but anywhere between an hour, 2 hours. All right, I'm really leaving this time. See you later. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Here's this.